Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine looking at someone's face and seeing, well, echoes of ancient desert caravans, maybe bustling trade routes, even global migrations.
Mm-hmm.
Every line, every shade, every subtle curve telling a story written over thousands of
Yeah.
years. Today, we're taking a deep dive into exactly that, the incredible multi-layered human map etched into the faces of the people of Saudi Arabia. It's a pretty profound journey into identity and history.
It truly is. And what's so compelling here is that to really understand why people in Saudi Arabia look the way they do, we have to trace both the precise science of genetics and the sweeping narrative of human history.
Right, the two together.
Exactly. We're
The,
going to explore how features like eye color, skin tone, even the contours of a face reveal millennia of interactions, adaptations, and just incredible journeys across continents.
wow.
It's a living record of human movement,
Yeah.
far more dynamic than any textbook.
And what's truly remarkable about this history is that while we might often picture Arabia as, I don't know, a vast, unchanging desert, maybe a bit isolated,
Yeah, that's the common image.
the sources we've explored reveal it was anything but. For tens of thousands of years, this peninsula wasn't a barrier. It was like a bustling highway, a critical bridge that humanity walked across.
Absolutely. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, archaeological surveys across what is now the empty quarter, that huge, arid desert, have unearthed stone tools dating back 90,000 years.
90,000 years! Wow.
It's incredible. And these aren't just artifacts, they're proofs that Arabia was once, well, much greener, a critical migration bridge between Africa and Asia.
A green corridor.
That's what the evidence suggests. Early humans, our ancestors, moved out of Africa through Arabia, leaving genetic traces still visibly woven into the tapestry of modern Saudis. It's like a foundational layer of their genetic identity.
So it's not just about humans moving through Arabia, but also people settling, interacting, making it their home.
Right.
And this didn't stop with those earliest migrations, did it? I mean, by the first millennium BCE, Arabia was a vibrant hub of interaction.
Not at all. You fast forward tens of thousands of years, and you have these incredible trade networks flourishing. Traders from Mesopotamia, Persia, the Levant, they weren't just passing through.
They were staying, interacting.
Deeply engaging with powerful South Arabian kingdoms like Sheba and Himyar. We often think of this as trade in, frankincense and myrrh.
Sure, the luxury goods.
But it was so much more. It was a massive movement of genes, a continuous cultural and biological exchange on an epic scale. Marriages, alliances, new settlements, all contributing to this really complex genetic mosaic.
Okay, so the natural next step is to ask, what does all this blending actually look like today? How does this deep history manifest in the physical appearance of people walking the streets of Riyadh or Jeddah right now?
Well, the genetic evidence is pretty striking. Recent genetic studies, like one from 2017, they reveal that about 40–50% of Saudi ancestry links directly back to these ancient Near Eastern populations.
Okay, almost half.
Yeah. But then you have another significant layer. About 30% reflects a notable genetic contribution from African populations.
30%.
And it's particularly pronounced in the west of the country, near the Red Sea.
Ah, okay. Due to the trade and geography there.
Exactly. This genetic blend helps explain why you can easily see two Saudis standing side by side. One, maybe with deep brown skin and tightly curled hair, perhaps a heritage rooted in centuries of Red Sea trade, and another with, say, lighter olive tones and straighter hair, reflecting more of those ancient Bedouin lines. Yet both share the same deep cultural roots and national identity.
That's a powerful visual.
That's a powerful visual testament to their shared yet incredibly diverse past.
That really drives home the idea that there's no single look. So what does this all mean when we start to zoom in on individual features? Let's begin with something immediately noticeable, something that catches the eye. Eye color.
Right.
In a desert environment with intense sun, you'd kind of expect a uniformly dark palette, right, as a protective adaptation.
And you'd largely be correct. Scientists attribute the fact that, over 85% of Saudis have dark brown or black eyes to precisely that. It's an adaptation to high UV radiation. Dark eyes just offer better protection.
Makes sense.
However, what's truly intriguing is the surprising variations you find. You get these rare, almost unexpected flashes of green or hazel.
Really? Green or hazel eyes?
Yeah, especially in tribes from the northern Najd region and along the Arabian Gulf. Genetic analysis suggests this actually originates from gene flow with Levantine and Mediterranean populations.
Levantine, so like modern-day Syria, Lebanon, that area.
Exactly, that historical region. A 2016 study, for instance, noted that up to 10% of Saudis carry genetic variants linked to lighter pigmentation,
10%.
possibly introduced through contact with, say, the Ottoman or Byzantine empires centuries ago. The key insight here is that even seemingly minor genetic traits like eye color act as living historical markers.
Little clues.
Yeah, revealing these intricate layers of migration and cultural exchange in a way, old maps never could.
Fascinating how even a small percentage can tell such a big story. So if our eyes are windows to genetic history, then the skin itself must serve as like an expansive canvas, painting an even broader picture.
It absolutely does.
Hmm.
We see very distinct regional differences in skin tone, and they directly reflect these historical currents.
Okay, how so?
Well, along the Red Sea coast, for example, many families show darker complexions. This is a clear reflection of centuries of extensive trade, migration, intermarriage with African populations.
Right, you mentioned the genetic link there.
Exactly. Genetic data confirms Western Saudis, on average, carry about 20–25% East African ancestry.
Yeah.
These weren't just brief encounters. These were deep, lasting connections that really reshaped the genetic landscape.
Okay, and other regions.
You contrast that with the central Najd region and parts of the north, where lighter olive skin is far more common. This often reflects more direct links to the traditional Bedouin tribes and historical ties with Persian Gulf neighbors.
That's a stark difference. And you mentioned earlier that this diversity can sometimes spark internal debates about identity. That's intriguing.
It is. This diversity sometimes fuels discussions about identity. You have some Saudis emphasizing a pure Bedouin lineage, especially maybe those from the Najd, viewing it as the authentic Saudi phenotype, their physical look.
The original look, perhaps?
Kind of. While others, particularly in regions like the Hijaz, readily embrace and celebrate the peninsula's deeply mixed heritage. They recognize the constant influx of peoples over millennia.
So it's a real conversation happening.
Absolutely. These tensions about what constitutes a typical Saudi look actually mirror broader social debates within the kingdom about balancing tradition with modernity and defining national identity in a globalized world. It's a conversation playing out not just in universities, but sometimes even, around family dinner tables.
It's truly remarkable how a simple physical trait can ignite such profound cultural conversations. And if skin tone and eye color are markers of history, what about the very architecture of the face itself? Do we see similar fingerprints of history in facial structure?
We absolutely do. While many Saudis exhibit what we consider broadly typical Middle Eastern features, often high cheekbones, maybe straighter noses, oval faces, the regional variations are really like unique fingerprints of history and geography.
Give us some examples.
Okay, take the Hijaz region in the west, home to cities like Mecca and Jeddah, which were huge historical melting pots. There, you'll often see broader facial features, maybe fuller lips, and, as we discussed, often darker skin tones.
Okay.
Then you move inland to the Najd, the vast central desert. There you might observe, on average, narrower noses, perhaps thinner lips, and generally lighter complexions.
A different look again.
And if you venture into the eastern province, particularly in areas with long-standing Persian Gulf connections, some families display features sometimes described as Persian-influenced, maybe softer jawlines, fairer skin.
Yeah. Wow. Is there scientific data on this?
Yes, actually. A 2019 anthropological survey reported measurable differences in things like the nasal index, which is basically the ratio of nose width to height,
Oh, okay.
and craniofacial angles, which define the specific contours of the skull and face between Hijazi and Najdi populations. It just emphasizes how deeply geography and history literally leave their mark on the human face.
That's incredibly precise. It's like each region has its own distinctive style built with genetic legacy over millennia. What about hair? Texture and color, that's another visible layer of this diversity.
Indeed. Hair texture in Saudi Arabia is another clear indicator of this rich blend of ancestry.
Okay.
Various studies have found that roughly 60% of Saudis tend to have wavy hair.
60% wavy.
About 25% straight and maybe 15% tightly curled. These percentages align really closely with what we'd expect from populations with mixed Afro-Arab and West Asian genetic markers.
So it matches the migration history. It's a direct reflection, yeah. And while jet black and deep dark brown overwhelmingly dominate hair color, you will also spot lighter browns and occasional auburn shades.
Oh, girly.
Yeah, particularly in families with known Turkish, Levantine, or even sometimes Central Asian heritage, passed down through those ancient trade and pilgrimage roads. It's all part of that continuous human flow.
It paints a picture that's much more varied than a single stereotype would suggest.
Definitely.
So we've covered eyes, skin, facial structure, hair. To complete our physical picture, let's talk about height and build. Are there significant variations here as well, or are things more uniform across the board?
While averages definitely exist, according to regional health surveys, Saudi men average about 171, 173 centimeters. That's roughly 5'7" to 5'8".
Okay.
And women about 158, 160 centimeters. So about 5'2" to 5'3". But what's really interesting is the trend.
Oh, what's happening?
We're seeing a noticeable increase in height in younger generations.
Like in many parts of the world. Exactly. Largely attributed to improved nutrition, better healthcare, the effects of urbanization.
Hmm.
A Riyadh-based study in 2021, for example, noted a significant 3-centimeter increase in average male height over just the past 40 years.
3 centimeters? That's quite a jump.
It is. It mirrors similar global trends where access to better health and diet impacts stature.
That's a tangible sign of development. But do those older tribal distinctions still play a role in average build even now?
Yes, to some extent they absolutely do. Tribal differences, linked to historical migratory patterns, maybe ancestral diets, they still persist in subtle ways.
How so?
For instance, northern tribes, which often have stronger genetic links to historically taller Levantine populations, tend to average slightly taller than some of those in the arid south.
Interesting.
Yeah, where historically harsher conditions or maybe different dietary staples might have influenced average stature over time. It shows that even height and build aren't just about modern factors.
Right.
They also carry the echoes of ancient ways of life and ancestral connections across the region.
This rich tapestry of features brings us to a really interesting point you touched on earlier. The very idea of a typical Saudi look is actually quite controversial within the kingdom itself.
It really is.
It seems to spark a lot of conversation.
It does. And what's truly fascinating here is how these discussions about appearance play out in society and in shaping national identity.
How does that manifest?
Well, you have some arguing quite strongly that the kingdom's heartland tribes, particularly the Najdi Bedouins, represent the authentic Saudi phenotype, maybe symbolizing a pure or original lineage, especially linked to the kingdom's founding.
Okay, the heartland view.
Right. But then others emphasize the deep historical significance of the Hijaz region, with its incredibly cosmopolitan cities like Mecca and Jeddah. For centuries, pilgrims from all over Africa, Central Asia, South Asia, beyond, they've left profound genetic footprints there, creating a truly diverse population that, for them, is just as authentically Saudi.
So it's a living debate, not just academic. I think I read something about a social media trend related to this.
Precisely. This isn't just theory. It's a very real social conversation. There was a trend around 2020, for instance, where young Saudis were posting their personal DNA results online.
Oh, wow. What did they find?
Often unexpected ancestry links
Yeah.
to East Africa, South Asia, the Levant, places maybe not in their immediate family narrative. And the reactions were incredibly varied.
I can imagine.
Some totally celebrated this newfound diversity, seeing it as, a beautiful testament to their land's deep history and global connections. Others, however, expressed resistance, viewing these findings maybe as an erosion of what they considered a traditional tribal purity. The key insight here is that the ongoing debate over a typical Saudi look isn't just about appearance. It's kind of a mirror, reflecting the kingdom's broader struggle or maybe dialogue between a venerated tribal past and its increasingly globalized, diverse present.
That makes a lot of sense. It's a national conversation playing out on individual faces. Beyond the scientific data and the societal debates, it feels like appearance for Saudis is also profoundly tied to honor, ancestry, belonging. It's not just genetics, is it? It's emotional.
Oh, absolutely. Deeply personal. The features we've discussed become part of family narratives, personal stories.
Like what?
Well, you might meet a man with striking hazel eyes who could trace his grandfather's tribe back to historical migrations from Syria. Or maybe a woman with tightly curled hair and darker skin who recounts cherished family stories of ancestors who came to the Red Sea coast centuries ago with the trade networks.
So the features become connections.
Each feature becomes more than just a physical trait. It's a living, breathing connection to history, a personal testament to their heritage. As one Saudi anthropologist wrote recently in 2022, "Our faces are not borders. They are maps of all who have passed through our land."
That's a beautiful quote, maps of all who have passed through.
Yeah. In a world that's increasingly interconnected, these differences maybe become less about division and more about a layered, evolving sense of identity that actually celebrates complexity.
So, what does this all mean for us, the listeners? This deep dive really shows us that Saudi Arabia's people, with their incredibly diverse looks, are just a testament to these powerful forces.
Mm.
Intense environmental adaptation, sweeping human migration, rich historical exchange, all converging in one unique place.
It really does.
Yeah.
It creates a people who, despite looking strikingly diverse, sometimes even within the same family, are deeply tied to their desert homeland. It's like a living resolution of profound historical and genetic movements.
Showcasing humanity's incredible ability to adapt and connect.
Exactly.
So the next time you see someone from Saudi Arabia, whether they have light green eyes, deep brown skin, and tightly curled hair, or that classic Bedouin profile, remember, they carry a piece of Arabia's long, incredible, and deeply interconnected story within them.
Mhm.
It's a story told not just in books, but right there in every face.
Which, prompts us to consider maybe an even broader question. Perhaps the most important question for all of us isn't just what makes Saudis look so different, but perhaps how does that beautiful, intricate difference tell us who we are as humans, always moving, always mixing, always adapting, and always in some way remembering where we came from?